Hello all, I am Siddharth Kaul and I welcome you to Edupedia World. In this video, we are going to take a look on how to combine unsimilar classes in MATLAB. First, let's take a look at all the valid combinations. We can compose matrices and arrays of elements of almost any MATLAB data type as long as all elements in the matrix are of same type, even if we include elements of dissimilar class when constructing a matrix. MATLAB converts some of the elements so that all the elements of the resulting matrix are of same type. The conversion of data type is done with respect to a preset precedence of classes. The table on this slide shows the 5 classes we can concatenate with a dissimilar type without generating an error. The error is generated only in case of character and logical class. For example, concatenating a double and single matrix always yields a matrix of type single. MATLAB converts the double element to single to accomplish this. Similarly, when accompanying a conversion type of integer, the single and double are automatically converted to the integer. Though here in this case we are going to lose some of the precision, or we can have an overflow in this case that we need to handle. Combining different integer types. If we want to combine different integer types in a matrix, say for example signed, we want to combine it with unsigned, or we want to combine an 8-bit integer with a 16-bit integer, the MATLAB will return a matrix in which all the elements are of one common type. MATLAB sets all elements of the resulting matrix to the data type of the leftmost element in the input matrix. For example, the result of the concatenation as shown in A is a vector of 3 16-bit signed integers. MATLAB also displays a warning to inform you that the result may not be what you had expected. This warning can be easily disabled by entering the commands shown after the comment disable warning directly after the operation that caused the warning. The first command retrieves the message identifier associated with the most recent warning issued by the MATLAB. The second command uses this identifier to disable any further warnings of that type from being issued. To re-enable this warning, we use the command shown after the enable warning comment. These last comments can be used to disable or enable the display of any MATLAB warning. Let's see an example of combining unlike integer sizes. Here in this case, I have disabled the integer concatenation warnings. Now I am concatenating the following two numbers once and then I will switch their order. The return value depends on the order in which the integers are concatenated. The leftmost type determines the data type for all elements in the vector. The first operation with the leftmost 16-bit integer will return a vector of 16-bit integer. The second operation with the leftmost 8-bit integer will return a vector of 8-bit integer. The same rule is applied to vertical concatenation as shown in vector C. So in vector C, the leftmost is an 8-bit integer, hence the whole vector C will be 8-bit integer. Now let's see an example with the signed and unsigned integer. Here in this case too, the leftmost element determines the data type for all elements in the resulting matrix. We have a vector A with the leftmost signed integer, hence we get a vector of signed integer. Next in B, we have vector B with leftmost unsigned integer, and hence we get a vector of unsigned integer. Here in this B case, the -100 is set to 0 because it is no longer signed. MATLAB evaluates each element prior to concatenating them into a combined array. An example for the same is demonstrated in vector C. Having leftmost element as signed integer with value 50 and unsigned integer -50, MATLAB before combining these two elements evaluate the unsigned integer and sets it to 0. So the -50 in this case becomes 0. Now after the concatenation, the second element retains its 0 value but takes on the unsigned integer type. Combining integer and non-integer data. If we are combining integers with double, single or logical classes, all elements of the resulting matrix are given the data type of the leftmost integer. For example, here we have a logical value that is true, then we have a pi value that is pi, and then 32-bit integer, then single, and then unsigned integer. So the leftmost integer in this case is integer 32. So all elements in the following vector will be set to the integer of bit 32. Combining cell arrays with non-cell arrays. Combining a number of arrays in which one or more is a cell array returns a new cell array. Each of the original arrays occupies a cell in the new array. The thing is, each element of the combined array maintain its original class. So double will still be double, integer will still be integer, and character will still remain of character class. So here you can see we in the A we combined 100, then a cell of unsigned integer of 8-bit, that is 200, and an integer of 300, and then we combined a character. So the whole A becomes a one single cell. But now if we check class of each and every element, the each and every element has retained its original class. So we get a double for 100, then we get unsigned integer 8-bit for 200, then we again get a double for 300, and we get a character for MATLAB. So the original classes in a combination of so the original classes of the elements are retained when those dissimilar elements are combined in a cell array. Empty matrices. If we try to construct a matrix using an empty matrix elements, then the MATLAB ignores these empty matrix in the resulting final matrix. Here we can clearly see that there is an empty matrix just before 9.44. And if we see the output of A, MATLAB has completely ignored that empty matrix, and we only get matrix A with elements 3. Combining single values and double values. Combining single values with double values always yields a single matrix. The example for the same is shown in the slide. So we have a single value of 4.5, single value of minus 2.8, a double value of pi, and a double value of 5.73 into 10 to the power 300. So all these values will be converted to the single and will be stored in X. So the X will have a data type of single. The point to note here is the double value of 5.73 into 10 to the power 300 is too huge to be stored as a single. Thus the conversion from double to single will set it to infinity. But the whole data type of vector X or array X will remain as single. Combining integer and double data types. Combining integer values with double values yields an integer matrix. So the example for the same is shown here in this slide. So we have an 8-bit integer of 21, 8-bit signed integer of minus 22, and 8-bit integer of 23, and double value of pi and double value of 45/6. The point to note that in cases of fractional parts, say for example pi and 45/6, the fractional part is rounded off to the nearest integer. So we will only get integer value out of it. So the pi will become 3 and 45/6 will become 8. But the data type for the whole array will remain as an 8-bit signed integer. Combining character and double types. Combining the character values with double values will yield a character matrix. The MATLAB, for the example shown here in this slide, we have character A, character B, character C, double value of 68, 69, and 70. So in this example, the double elements is converted to the equivalent character form. So 68 will become E, 68 will become D, 69 will become E, and 70 will become F. And the overall class of the X will remain as character. Combining logical and double types. Combining logical values with double values yields a double matrix. Here in this example, we have a logical value of true, then false, then a double value of pi, and a double value of square root of 7. So the MATLAB converts all these logical values into their equivalent double values. So the true becomes 1.00, false becomes 0, and all the rest of the double remains the same. So the whole class of X becomes double. This concludes our video on combining unsimilar classes. In the next video, we are going to take a look at MATLAB objects. So until then, please subscribe and thanks for watching.